Good morning, students. I hope you all be fine in this lockdown corona phase. Students, in the last video, we discussed about LS of a typical flower, structure of stamen, and three-dimensional structure of an anther. Today we are going to start a very important topic which is important from examination point of view also, that is transverse section of anther or microsporangium. Students, I explained you in my last video that anther has two lobes. It is bithecous or dithecous, and inside the anther we have four microsporangia, which is also known as pollen sac. So today we are going to discuss in detail the structure of a typical microsporangium. Right? So be ready. Now, this is a diagram showing you the structure of microsporangium, the transverse section of the young anther. First of all, we will start from the outer side and then slowly we will proceed towards the inner side. Now you see, this is the outermost layer which is known as epidermis. Epidermis is made up of compact cells, rectangular cells, and below the epidermis then there is a second layer which is known as endothecium. This endothecium is very special because it has fibrous thickenings. It is a fibrous layer and it has thickening. Now, below the endothecium, there are 1 to 3 or sometimes 4 middle layers. So, you can just see in the diagram, there are 1 and 2 middle layers. And below the middle layer, there is a very special layer which is known as tapetum. So, this is a tapetum. The epidermis, the endothecium and the middle layer. These three layers are protective in nature. They protect the anther. But the tapetum is a very special layer because it provides nourishment to microspore mother cells and also to the pollen grains. And this tapetum is a very special layer. It has dense cytoplasm and it has more than one nucleus. So then inner side we have a compactly arranged cells. These are known as, they are labeled as microspore mother cell. They are labeled as microspore mother cell. So this is a typical anther which is surrounded by 4 layers: epidermis, endothecium, then below endothecium middle layers, and innermost, that is next to microspore mother cell, is a tapetum. The tapetum provides nourishment to the pollen grains by diffusion or by forming a special structure known as plasmodium. I hope this structure is clear to you. Now the next one. See this. Again, this is a diagram showing you a mature anther. When the anther is mature, then these all small structure, they are pollen grains. They are also known as microspores. When anther is young, all the microspore mother cells, they are very compactly arranged. But when the anther matures and it is time for the release of pollen grains, the dehiscence takes place and all pollen grains are liberated. So you can see in this diagram, these all are pollen grains. So this is a typical anther which is showing the pollen grains. Now the next important topic is microsporogenesis. So students, what happens? What happens when the anther matures? The microspore mother cells. So the microspore mother cells, these cells which are compactly arranged, they undergoes meiosis, which is reductional division, and results in the formation of a tetrad or 4 haploid nucleus. So these microspore mother cells, they are also known as meiocytes. Why they are called meiocytes? Because they undergoes meiosis, right? So when the anther matures, these meiocytes, they dissociate, they separate from each other, and we get 4 pollen grains, or we get 4 microspore. So from one microspore mother cell, after meiosis, we get 4 microspores. And microspores, inside the microsporangium, thousands of pollen grains are formed and they are released from the anther. Now we are going to the next picture. Yes, this. Wow, see, this is such a beautiful picture. See, this diagram is showing you, or these pictures are showing you, a huge variety of microspores, that is the pollen grains. See the students, the shape, size, designs, colors. Some are round in shape, some are oval, some are triangular, and in some the exine is showing you spine like structure, it is spiny layer. So these beautiful, they are all microspores, and they are also known as pollen grain. So this microscope has such a variety. You can see each microscope spore is actually haploid, and it has only single nucleus. So before I explain you the structure of pollen grains, students, the process of formation of pollen grains, or process of formation of microspore from microspore mother cell, is known as microsporogenesis. Microsporogenesis. Now next. Now, okay students, now see this diagram. This is a diagram showing you the structure of a microspore, or structure of a pollen grain. Now this pollen grain, it has an outer layer which is known as exine. Outer layer which is known as exine. Now exine is not a continuous layer. तो आप देख सकते हो कि किते किते मैं exine ਨੂੰ break ਕੀਤਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਹੈ. So that is the point which is known as germ pore. Germ pore. Later on मैं ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ explain ਕਰਾਂਗੀ कि इस germ pore ਦੀ ਕੀ importance ਹੈ. Now exine ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਇੱਕ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਪਾਊਡਰੀ ਇੱਕ ਸਬਸਟੈਂਸ ਹੈ ਜਿਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਮੈਂ exine ਨੂੰ ਕਵਰ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ, and this substance is known as sporopollenin. Sporopollenin मैं इत्थे स्टार क्यों बनाया? Because a most resistant substance है जो कि किसी भी chemical या किसी भी biological agent ਦੇ ਨਾਲ इसका decomposition नहीं ਹੁੰਦਾ. Right? So sporopollenin एक बहुत ही resistant organic material है. Now स्पोरोपोलिनिन हो गया, एक्साइन हो गया. एक्साइन तो अंदर साडी एक लेयर है जो कि pollen grain ਨੂੰ सराउंड करती है. This is known as intine. Intine continuous layer है, इस दे विच कोई भी break या germ pore नहीं है. Then pollen grain ਦੇ अंदर microspore ਦਾ cytoplasm है, ये सारा cytoplasm है. और then we have a very well defined nucleus, and this nucleus is haploid. Because pollen grain is formed due to meiosis, and meiosis is a reductional division. It reduces the chromosome numbers to half. So microspore mother cell की सीगा diploid सीगा, but the pollen grain की हैगा, pollen grain is a haploid structure. So this is haploid, right students? So आई होप ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ pollen grain ਦਾ ਸਟਰਕਚਰ ਸਮਝ ਆ ਗਿਆ ਹੋਵੇਗਾ. ਮੈਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਿੰਪਲ ਵੇ ਨਾਲ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਐਕਸਪਲੇਨ ਕਰਨ ਦੀ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ. ਬੱਚੇ ਇੱਕ ਗੱਲ ਹੋਰ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਇੰਪੋਰਟੈਂਟ ਦੱਸਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੀ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਜਦੋਂ pollen grain ਮਤਲਬ 60% ਐਂਜੀਓਸਪਰਮਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜਦੋਂ pollen grain ਸ਼ੈਡ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ, ਐਂਥਰ ਮੈਚਿਓਰ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ, ਰਪਚਰ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ, ਪੋਲਨਸ ਰਿਲੀਜ਼ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹੈ, ਤੇ pollen 2 ਸੈਲਡ ਸਟੇਜ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ, ਉਦੋਂ pollen ਰਿਲੀਜ਼ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ. ਉਹ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਨੈਕਸਟ ਵੀਡੀਓ 'ਚ ਐਕਸਪਲੇਨ ਕਰਾਂਗੀ ਕਿ ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਮੇਲ ਗੈਮੀਟੋਫਾਈਟ ਬਣਦਾ ਹੈ ਔਰ 2 ਸੈਲਸ ਦਾ ਫਾਰਮੇਸ਼ਨ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ। ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਲਾਸਟ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੱਕ ਹੋਰ ਗੱਲ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪੋਲਨ ਗ੍ਰੇਨਸ ਹੈ, ਪੋਲਨ ਗ੍ਰੇਨਸ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਸਾਡੇ ਲਈ ਹਾਰਮਫੁਲ ਵੀ ਹੈ ਅਤੇ ਯੂਜ਼ਫੁਲ ਵੀ ਹੈ। ਹਾਰਮਫੁਲ ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੀ ਐਲਰਜੀਜ਼ ਪੋਲਨ ਗ੍ਰੇਨਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ। ਪੋਲਨ ਗ੍ਰੇਨ ਕਈ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਰੈਸਪੀਰੇਟਰੀ ਡਿਸਆਰਡਰਸ ਕਾਜ਼ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੈ, ਜਿਵੇਂ ਅਸਥਮਾ ਹੈ, ਕਈ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਅਸਥਮਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ, ਬਰੀਥ ਕਰਨ 'ਚ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਹੈ, ਲੰਗਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਨਫਲੇਮੇਸ਼ਨ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ, ਸਵੈਲਿੰਗ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ। ਸੋ ਪੋਲਨ ਗ੍ਰੇਨਸ ਆਰ causal agent of different type of allergies, but they have some positive value also, they are beneficial also. Why? Because they are rich in nutrients. So pollen grains know as a food supplements in the form of tonics, in the form of tablets ਆਪਾਂ ਇਹਨੂੰ consume ਕਰਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ। So pollen grains they have both positive as well as negative values. ਸੋ ਸਟੂਡੈਂਟਸ ਅੱਜ ਮੈਂ ਇਸ ਲੈਕਚਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕੀ ਐਕਸਪਲੇਨ ਕੀਤਾ। ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਟ੍ਰਾਂਸਵਰਸ ਸੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਯੰਗ ਐਂਥਰ ਦਾ ਐਕਸਪਲੇਨ ਕੀਤਾ। ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਕਿ ਟਿਪੀਕਲ ਐਂਥਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਇੰਪੋਰਟੈਂਟ ਲੇਅਰਸ ਨੇ ਔਰ ਨਿਊਟ੍ਰੀਟਿਵ ਲੇਅਰ ਕਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਔਰ ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਐਂਥਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਮਾਈਕਰੋਸਪੋਰੋਜੈਨੇਸਿਸ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਔਰ ਲਾਸਟ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਮਾਈਕਰੋਸਪੋਰ ਬਣਦਾ ਹੈ। ਔਰ ਇਸ ਡਾਇਗਰਾਮ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜੋ ਮੈਂ ਖੁਦ ਡਰਾ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ, ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਮਾਈਕਰੋਸਪੋਰ ਦਾ ਸਟਰਕਚਰ ਐਕਸਪਲੇਨ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ। ਆਈ ਹੋਪ ਇਹ ਤਿੰਨੋਂ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ ਚੰਗੀ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਸਮਝ ਆਈਆਂ ਹੋਣਗੀਆਂ। ਇਹ ਬਹੁਤ ਇੰਪੋਰਟੈਂਟ ਹੈ ਐਗਜ਼ਾਮੀਨੇਸ਼ਨ ਪੁਆਇੰਟ ਆਫ ਵਿਊ ਨਾਲ। ਪਲੀਜ਼ ਇਸ ਨੂੰ ਸੁਣੋ, ਨੋਟ ਕਰੋ, ਆਪਣੇ ਨੋਟਸ ਬਣਾਓ ਔਰ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਸਟੂਡੈਂਟਸ ਪਲੀਜ਼ ਸ਼ੇਅਰ ਕਰੋ। ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ ਸੋ ਮਚ। ਹੈਵ ਅ ਨਾਈਸ ਡੇ ਬੱਚੇ।